Architects, pull up your Eames chair, put on those black spectacles, and pour yourself a piping hot cup of strong black coffee. Okay, maybe add a splash of oat milk, because we're about to delve into unfiltered conversations about the architecture industry with architects from all around the world. We're going to talk about increasing your salaries. We're going to talk about reducing your hours, and we're going to talk about creating health and happiness within the industry. So if you're an architect that's searching for more balance, a higher salary, a healthier relationship with your career, or maybe you're just trying to find a love for architecture again, turn up your AirPods just a notch, because I've got the answers. I'm your host, 𝗥𝗲𝘀𝗲𝗿, your future career coach and founder of The Healthy Architect. And I teach architects how to stress less and make more, a lot more. Grab your trace papers and let's dive in.
Hello, architects. Hello, design professionals. It is a beautiful Saturday here where I am. I'm having the best morning in the entire world. I have one of the two children that I have here with me today, and we are just having a super slow, wonderful, mindful day. But yesterday was an uber cool day for me as a career coach. Throughout the day, I had spoken to each one of my clients that I've ever had, or not ever had, but the most recent clients. I mean, I had a day packed full of group coaching calls, one-on-one coaching calls, podcast recordings, and throughout the entire day, I got to spend at least 1 minute with all of my clients, which was super cool and super empowering. I want to talk about something that during our group coaching call just kept coming up and coming up and coming up with my clients. And I want to bring it up because I feel like it's super relevant to females in the architecture world. And the thing that kept coming up was emotions and how these emotions were impacting their career and their day-to-day life. So I'm going to talk about 3 of my different clients and their emotions that they have been experiencing recently. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 rules to help you as a female in the architecture industry overcome those emotions. Okay. So one of my clients, the emotion I'm going to put towards her was resentment. She was holding resentment. And I'm never going to use my clients' names because of privacy, but let's just call her client A. She was holding this resentment for her current firm because she had multiple offers on the table, and she was working through whether she was going to stay at current firm or go to another firm. The current firm, and the reason why she was holding resentment is because she felt as if the years that she had dedicated to this firm, she had been undervalued and underpaid. And still at this moment, her receiving a raise, an offer on the table at her current firm, still she felt as if she was undervalued and underpaid, and she was holding this resentment. And in order for her to move forward, she had to let that resentment go. She could not, in my opinion, successfully receive that raise or accept that raise, accept that offer, and go in a positive manner throughout that firm that she'd been with for more than 10 years. And she was holding all of this resentment. And, we were working through whether she should stay at her current firm that she'd been with for more than 10 years and been underpaid and undervalued for 10 years, or go to a new firm. Now, there were pros and cons to each, but my biggest suggestion for her is that even if she went to this new firm, she really needed to change the way she was holding herself at this new firm. So one of the reasons she was holding all of this resentment is because she said that she was the yes girl. Anything that they put on her plate, she'd say yes. They knew that they could underpay her. They knew that they could put more on her plate, and she would do it with a smile. And so one of the things that we talked about, if she did move to the other firm where she had another offer, a really great offer at, she needed to set these boundaries. She needed to not be the yes girl anymore. And she needed to make sure that she showed up day one, and actually day -7, because before your first day, you need to show up and make sure that you are treated with respect, you are valued, and you are holding those boundaries. It doesn't matter where you go. If you do not make sure that others respect you, the same scenario is going to happen over and over and over again. So client one was holding this resentment, and we still haven't completely worked through it, but I believe we're going to resolve that in the next few sessions together. Client two was angry, was super angry, because she'd been telling her boss over and over and over, give me more to do, give me more responsibility. I can do more. I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to absorb more. I need to do more for me to stay in this position. And this is what I need to do, X, Y, and Z. And so she found on LinkedIn or Indeed, I can't remember, that her boss had posted a position and the salary was much higher than hers. And she still had not been given that responsibility that she was asking for. So she was angry, and rightfully so. She's been angry for a long time, right? Client three was hurt by her boss and her firm. She had negotiated a really good maternity leave earlier this year, and her boss, she felt, had held it against her at the end of the year. Long story short, based on PTO and other things. So she felt like she was being belittled because of the maternity leave that she successfully negotiated early in the year. So that's why she felt hurt by her boss. So here are three emotions that my clients are feeling. They're feeling resentment, they're feeling anger, and they're feeling hurt. So how do we take these emotions and make sure that they are a positive? Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 steps, 3 rules to live by for emotions. First of all, step number 1, we have to feel our emotions. Here's what we can't do. We can't shove those emotions down over and over and over. We can't take that resentment and just push it as far down as we can and just ignore it, because at some point in your career, in your life, that resentment, that anger, that hurt is going to come out. And it's probably going to come out at the worst possible time. It's kind of like a tea kettle, right? Like when you start boiling to a certain point, that tea kettle, the top blows off, right? That is you if you push those emotions down. Now, some people can push emotions down for weeks. Some people can push them down for years, but I promise you those emotions are going to come out, and not in a leadership kind of way, not the way you want them to come out and not when you want them to come out. So first of all, we have to feel our emotions as architects and design professionals. I'm just going to give you a few techniques that I use and my clients use to feel their emotions. There are a million different emotions and a million different ways to feel your emotions. One of those is journaling, right? I like to get it out of my head and get it onto paper, period. It stops you from thinking about things over and over and over. And you can continue to write your emotions out, write how you are feeling out on paper over and over and over until you finally get to a spot where you're like, okay, I'm clear and I'm confident now. Another way that I get out emotions when I'm angry or I'm hurt or I'm holding resentment is through kickboxing. I go to the gym. I get it out physically. I get my anger out in the gym. Others use meditation, right? There are a million different ways to feel your emotions. And that's step number 1, is to feel your emotions. And let me also say that there's not really a dedicated time that you can do this for. Some people, it takes 1 day to feel your emotions and move through it and work on it. Some people, it takes 6 months. And some individuals, it takes years and years and years to work through and feel those emotions. So there's not really a time cap on how long it takes for you to feel them. But the important thing is that we're not shoving them down as females in the architecture industry. Those feelings are validated, whatever they are, even if they don't make sense. Let's still validate them. Let's still feel them. Let's still acknowledge them. We are not men, and we are not robots either. We have emotions, okay? Not that men don't have emotions, they do as well, but we are females, we are not robots, and we have emotions, period. Rule number 2, we have to move through the emotions, right? So a lot of my clients say, I'm scared to ask for that during a negotiation, or they have an imposter syndrome. The important thing here is to not let your emotions stop you. They might slow you down for a week. They might slow you down for a day. They might slow you down for 30 minutes. And that's perfectly fine if they slow you down, but you can't let them stop you. You have to continue moving through. You have to be stronger than your emotions. Okay. So you can come into work angry, but you can't sit in that anger for too long. You have to be strong enough mentally to get yourself out of that anger, get yourself out of that resentment, and get yourself out of that hurt. Feel it and then move through it. You cannot sit in those emotions for too long. It is not good for you. It's not good for your family. It's not good for your friends. It's not good for your architecture firm. It's not good for your career. And then rule number 3 is you have to take action. You have to take action. You have to bring a solution to the table, period. That's how you move through that. That's how you close the cycle of emotions, is via taking action. No matter what it is, take action. Okay? So let's say you're angry, for example, you're angry because you didn't receive the maternity leave that you thought you were going to receive. Okay, well, what are you going to do about it? That's my question. What are you going to do about it? You can be angry. You can sit in it for a while, but then how are you going to take action? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to impact maternity leave for the future generation of architects? How are you going to impact maternity leave for the next mother that comes into your firm? How are you going to negotiate maternity leave for yourself? What are you going to do about it? Because being angry and sitting there isn't the solution. Being angry and holding resentment is not the solution. Feel it, move through it, and then take action. That, my friend, is the solution. We are strong females in the architecture industry, and those are the 3 steps to working through your emotions. And that's all for today. Mic drop. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Architects, this podcast is the culmination of the most creative minds in the world. The planning and programming of this content is extensive, and I'm proud to be a small part of the change that's happening in our profession. If you want to be a part of this change, the very best thank you can give the Healthy Architect is giving us a 5-star review and sharing this episode with a colleague. When you give us a 5-star review and you share this podcast, you are playing a role in changing our industry, one architect at a time. Be happy, be healthy, and take action towards a more fulfilling career. See you next week on the Healthy Architect Podcast.